think I was muted. That was. There we go. Hello, folks. Good evening. Good morning, good afternoon. Hopefully everybody is doing well today. Yeah, just more Honkai Star Rail. Because I'm invested now. We can't stop. But yeah. Hopefully y'all are doing a-okay. For folks who are watching the VOD, hello. This is a shout out to y'all. Alright, let me at least get the game on here. There we go. I don't know if I'll keep my kind of thing up on this corner because I was blocking like some of the talking options. Oh, Luvish, Nia Luvish, hello. I got out of toxic. Oh my gosh, happy and free now. Okay, I was gonna ask how are you doing? A-okay, but it seems like you are doing. Feel so happy, and that's good. I'm happy for you. And yeah, I mean that happens, right? For any type, you know, you leave your heart with someone. Always happens like that. It just means that it was important. It was unfortunate, but luckily you are happier for it. But yeah, that's still rough though. Sorry to hear that still. But I do appreciate you sharing and, you know, I guess sparing us from more details. But that's okay. I do appreciate you sharing here. But hopefully you're doing better today, tonight. I don't know what time it is over your side of the world, but yeah. see, on my side of things, I went to my parents' place and ate a lot of food. So it's not as eventful as yours was. Let me see if we can pull this in and switch the audios over. Smooth as I'll get it. Smooth as I will get that. Let's go ahead and log in. Okay. Oh, I was trying to start Currency Wars. Well, I wanted to continue the Holy Grail War, so maybe we'll go there. As much as I'd like to continue TFT. Go ahead and continue. Oh no. Yeah, we do not look backwards. Don't look backwards. Forwards is good. Backwards is bad. Doing best as I can. Watching streamers and working on my game has been the biggest pastime, so I was able to actually work on your character. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm honored that you are here watching. New game though. I remember you talked about. Oh no. Yeah. Oh, done it now.
オタクの背後に黒幕がいることは分かってる。もちろんその彼女を陥れ、財宝を利用して現月遊戯へ復帰しようと目論んでることも。あの金ピカをわざわざ彼女のところへ誘導したのは同士討ちが狙いだったんだろう。
Okay, that was a plan.
でもそれなら彼女の実力なら聖杯戦争なんて一晩で終わらせられるってことも。
But yeah, exciting with the new game though. Wishing you the best of luck with that.
彼女に宣戦布告するリスクを冒してまで火花を願いらせようなんてどういうつもり？
神にだって弱点はある。オタクが正体に応じて姿を見せた
Even
の
goddesses have
何よりの
weaknesses.
証拠だ。
Okay.
聖杯によって現像の肉体を与えられたとはいえ、この地の眼力では
She can only be here for 7
限界させら
days.
れるのはせいぜい7日間。言い換えれば、僕たちが手を組めば神殺しだって
Just wait-
夢
just
物語
wait
じ
her
ゃ
out.
なくなる。
I think of course.
ダメダメ、まだ笑っちゃダメ。こらえないと。
Wow.
これで女神も探偵も邪魔者はみんないなくなる。
Jeez.
計画通り。
計画通り。
必ず火花が新世界のヒロインになるんだから。
心の声がダダ漏れ。あれで気づかれてないつもりなのか？
Oh,
まさしく名実ともに
comes
愚
a
者ってわ
pyramid
けだ。
and an emote buff on top of
まあいい。
that.
所詮はただの踊り。せいぜい
But
幻想に
hello,
浸ってればいい
Visio.
さ。この調子なら、あ
There
の
we
娘の
go.
化けの皮を剥がす
There
のは
is the
時間
5
の問題だ。
with pyramid. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. I love the combo. But thank you. Hopefully you're doing well. It is a very, well, not very late. It is early morning for you. Hopefully you had a good rest. Why are you calling our girl hypocrite here?
あれ、新世界の神にふさわしいのは僕のはずなのに、なんでこんなに蚊帳の外なんだ？
All right. Well, we're here. Are you ready to? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. What just happened?
動かないで。あんたたちの汚い取引もここまでよ。
Hmm.
ようやく網にかかったな。
Oh, I got you 1 week. 1 week. What is this? Yeah. What is exactly? Yeah.
意外だったかな。悪い悪い。罠を仕掛けるって前もって知らせるべきだったか。
I mean, right.
さあ配信者のお嬢さん、オタクが裏切るつもりだった相手がそこにいる。連中を倒して僕たちに実力を証明してくれ。
高みの見物を決め込むつもり？でも残念だね。
Thanks for the
それも
emote
火
buff
花
there.
にとっては想定内。ごめんね、名探偵ちゃん。君の計画はご破産。
So you want us to fight?
この聖杯戦争の勝者は
Yep.
火花ただ一人。君たちみたいな雑魚はライダーの固有結界で一網打尽にしてあげる。
My word.
ナタレジーで。
Yeah. Okay. Here comes Casterus.
ちょっと次は君のセリフでしょ、花火。早くしてよ。視聴
Sparkle.
者のみんなが見てるんだから。
Okay.
抱擁の中で眠れ。花々が土へ帰るように死んでいけ。これぞ我が宝具、フラワーフォートタナトス。
What was that laugh? Okay.
残念。オタクの配信ルームはバンされてる。
Stream has been taken up for the mods.
現月遊戯の期間中に起こったこの聖杯戦争は秘密裏のまま終わらせなくちゃならないのさ。
You were playing the stream all of this? Okay. Yeah, it's such a chaotic mess right now. Yeah. Oh yes. Blink if you're being kidnapped.
ライダー、本当は戦いたくないんでしょ？だったら彼の言う通りにして。
Oh, furious blinking. Okay.
レイジを持って命ずる。宝具 100% 解放。
Command spell.
して。
Dragon time?
なぜ完全な姿ではないのですか？
interesting.
まだ育成中なの。ごめんね。
Okay, well, you're not complete yet. Let's see.
宝石剣。
こんなに激しい戦いなんだから火花たちを盛り上げてあげなくちゃね。
Yo, please.
ですが、
Thank you.
配信はもう切られているのでは？
アーカイブがあるでしょ。
そうでしたね。が
Go. Leveling up. I'll do a Gate of Babylon today. There we go.
これが私の弱点です。早く倒してください。
あれラスボスは設定を守らないと。勇者に情報を教えちゃダメでしょ。
わかりました。ガオガオ。
I should use this first. I have 4 moves we could do. Okay.
輝け。
One more move to go.
旅路をここに交われ。
Alright, we'll heal up.
一度レジを持って命する。ハーグに
Well, you're burning through your.
申し訳ありません。なんだか急に体に力が。
Okay, fine. It's alright. It'll be fine. Put that on. What? Okay. Get a card.
ミストル、受け取りなさい。やって
You
やる
can
わ。
ult.
アンガルタキガルス。
起きよエアエヌマエリシ
Ulting again. Alright, so we got 2 new energy pieces. Okay. Oh, nice. Here we go. Ooh.
敗せよ
That should be enough. Should be. Oh, there's phase 2. Of course, there's phase 2.
この威圧感。
Oh.
まずい、避けて。
Archer. What? The bone of his sword is here. What? Idea.
ワービックさん逃げてくれ
嘘だろ。僕たちの出番ってこれで終わりなのか？
Yeah, dude, run. Oh, you're.
アーチャー、そこの探偵と SSA 陣もやっちゃって。
Who's the actual
Shouchita.
Ren? He's not
そこの
happy
不
about
審
it.
人者は、そうね、あの派手な服をひんむいて供物代わりに没収しようかしら。
She's being manipulated or moved. Huh.
女神様が2人。
この聖杯戦争のアーチャー陣営はあなたたちってわけ？
Okay, so Gilgamesh is not.
あら、ようやく気づいたの？あのウサギ娘をおとりにして財宝を根こそぎいただくつもりだったの。そのついでに何人かマスターを始末できれば万々歳ってところだったんだけど、
Okay.
思いがけない
There's two
大物が
rings.
かかったわね。あなた一体何者？なんで
Yeah,
私の
Archer,
顔
yeah. Also, red
それに
eyes?
どうしてアーチャーがそ
Is
こにい
that
るの？
Ishtar?
せっかくの贈り物のこともう忘れちゃった？
Ishtar has red eyes, yes? Yeah, it's Ishtar.
まさかイシタ
Yeah, okay. I caught it a little bit
私
faster
は
than.
新式の一部を
Yeah.
その耳飾りに潜ませて降臨の機会を伺っていたの。神話っていうのはつまり最古の虚構でしょ？神話の中でなら神は永遠に存在し続け、人々の願いに応え続けられる。この想像に満ちた世界にぴったりだと思わない？運命、アイオン。ここは見たこともない貴重なお
She
宝であふれ
does
返
need
って
to
る。
reap worlds. That is her
特
thing.
に優越や準備なんかまさにこの私のためにあるって感じよね。女神はね、望んだものは必ず手に入れるの。たとえこの世界に魔力がなくたって信仰を眼力に変換すれば神霊としての姿を維持することができる。そのための信仰をどうやって築き上げ、どんな風に銀河を征服しようか考えていたちょうどその時、
Mm-hmm.
偶然にもこの上ない信徒が目の前に現れたのよ。
We've been using your ult this time. Who is she talking about? Okay, this is very interesting. Oh, Finny, hello, welcome in. Another pyramid. Good, good. How are you doing, Finny? Hopefully you're doing well. Yes, what is going on? She's talking about Sparshi? Or Gilgamesh? He's talking about Gilgamesh. Oh, you got a frog! Well, congrats! Was it from a pet store or did you... Was it a wild frog?
腹立たしい名前ね。でもいいわ。どうせあの男も私を喜ばせ、
Yeah, they've always... Oh, Ishtar and
私
Gilgamesh
を
kind
崇
of
めることになるんだから。
hit heads, so... Oh, moving so she can get your... Aw, how sweet.
私をまさか魔術とまるで縁のない世界に来ちゃう
Yeah, she had to make a pact with Ishtar.
こんなデタラメなことが起こっていいわけ？まるで誰かにからかわれてる気分。こんな魔術を全否定するような世界じゃ、どんな対処法もいい
Pretty
も
nice. I don't
の
even
じゃ
know how to start. Taking care of a frog, though.
そう。あの瞬間、追い詰められていたあなたのことよ。あの時、あなたは無意識のうちにもっと強く、もっと
Desire
完
to
璧
escape
で
a
ありたいと
predicament.
願った。
Yeah.
そうすれば、目の前の危機から逃げ切れるとでも思ってるみたいに。あなたのおかげで、この二層楽園に一つの現像生命体、もう一人の遠坂凛が、完璧で冷酷な暗黒の魔女、傍若無人にして神のごとき高嶺の花が誕生したのよ。
Okay.
この私が宿るのに
Use
こ
for
れ
me.
以上にふさわしいものが他にいるとでも？あなた、一体何が目的なの？あなたの願いを叶えることよ。7日以内に遠坂凛を至高の存在にしてみせる。手始めにまずはこの二層楽園を支配する神になってあげようってわけ。けど残念ね。準備か優越か、あるいは新たに
Just gonna make a new
遠坂
path.
の運命を切り開いてみるとか。
My word.
そこのところまだ決めかねてるのよね。神になるだなんてそう簡単な話じゃないわよ。いえ、待って。
Yeah?
じゃあつまりあの時屋上で私を襲撃したのはあの金ピカじゃなくあなただったってこと？今さら気づいたところでもう手遅れ。私の儀式はもうすでにこの二層楽園全体に及んでるの。
Yeah, she's got a head
そ
start.
の気になればいつだってこの地に満ちる眼力すべてを
I think
私のもの
I've
に
named
で
a
きる。
frog
さっさと聖
Keropi
杯を渡し
Puddles.
て、
Oh, that's so
それで
cute.
この茶番はおしまいよ。
Mr. Puddles. Well, congrats. Well, hello to Mr. Puddles. So cute.
そんなことはさせません。
Oh, yes, Casterus.
私はアンタンタルテ、死の半身キャストリス。
So cool.
どうか引き返して安らかな死を妨げないでください。
Oh.
花々が土に帰るような死を。
But that's Ishtar,
そ
though.
んなに死に急ぐものじゃないわよ。
死と向き合うのは初めてではありません。
Wait, whoa, whoa. What's this? How is this gonna end up?
死の意味を理解しています。それを恐れる必要がないことも。
3対1よ。私はサーバントじゃないけど魔術戦の心得はそれなりにあるんだから。
Hmm.
ひとまず休戦にする？それとも共倒れがお望み？どっちにするか選んでちょうだい。いいわ。 今回は見逃して
I'll
あ
let
げ
you
る。
off this time. Well, Ishtar,
け
you
ど
were 3 to
次に
1
会った
outnumbered.
時、そこがどんな修羅場になっても知らないんだから。
Okay, so now we know who Sparshi was working for. Oh, Gogama should be very pissed. Well, you know what? That goddess that keeps like pestering you. Yeah, she's here. Oh, Jester, hello. Welcome and thanks for the lurk. Hopefully you're doing well.
さすがだな、お嬢ちゃん。気迫だけで女神を追い返すとは。
Maybe.
自分でも驚いてるわよ。とにかく、まずは現状を整理しましょう。
Yep.
まず第一に、探偵さんは真犯人は火花じゃなく、彼女の背後にいるイシュタルだと考えた。そこで、まずは自分が裏切りの素振りを
Doing
見せ
good?
るこ
How's
とで、
Honkai going? We just
火
started.
花が
We just
願え
started.
るよう仕向けることにし
We're
た。
I think day 3 or day 4 of the Holy Grail War. 4 out of 7. Yeah.
第2に、火花は勝利のために他人の手を使って女神を裏切ることを考え、探偵さんの誘いに応じた。第3に、上辺の目的で意気投合した両者は裏切り者が面会すると匂わせて
Interesting.
女
They're all,
神をおびき出す
I guess they
までを仕掛けた。
accidentally worked together.
そして残念なことに、あの大バカ2人は私を女神だと信じきってて、
Mhm.
まさかこの世界に
Yeah.
私がもう一人いるだなんて考えもしなかった。
Hopefully Art's doing well.
まあ、
Jester.
私も思いつかなかったんだけどね。
Eternal hello from the red side.
あなた、よくあの状況からアーチャーを振り切ったわね。
ここらは僕たちのホームだ。その気になれば手はいくらでもあるさ。ほら、若返りの霊薬だ。ひとまずこれで勘弁してくれ。
Art is good. Have few new projects. Ooh.
こんなもので延命しようなんてバ
Are
チ
they
当た
long
りそうな気が
ones?
してな。
Hopefully they're not too
僕にはそいつを口にする勇
strenuous
気
for
はな
you.
かった。
チェ、妙なとこばかりまっとうじゃねえか。ならそっちのマスターはこの手の誘惑に打ち勝てそうには見えなかったが。
Okay.
ワービックか。あれが悪巧みの得意なタイプだってことくらい誰だって一目でわかる。化けの皮が剥がれるのも時間の問題だっただろうさ。だからこっちから契約を解除してやった。
Oh.
今頃は現像の体を失ってヘイローに戻ってるんじゃないか。
Wait.
確かにあいつは霊薬に随分興味がありそうだった。ついに耳の羽で飛ぶ正しい方法を思いついたんだ。ぜひとも子供時代に戻って試さないと。
Right.
なんて言ってたが、
One is long one, others
そ
not.
の機
Okay.
会は永遠に
Good.
なくなっ
At
たわ
least
け
it's
だ。
balanced out.
僕に感謝してくれよ。
Just, make sure you take breaks and keep hydrated.
結果的には良かっただろう。僕の作戦は真犯人をおびき出して正体を突き止め、ついでにその企みの中身まで解き明かしてみせたわけだ。
今さら気づいたところでもう手遅れ。
Should probably
私の
stop
儀式は
those
もう
rituals
すでにこ
then.
の二層楽園全体に及んでるの。その気になればいつ
Oh
だ
yeah,
って
of course.
こ
Good.
の地
Good to
に
hear
満ちる
that.
眼
Jester.
力すべてを私のものにできる。さっさと聖杯を渡して、それでこの茶番はおしまいよ。あいつはその気になればいつだって聖杯戦争をおしまいにできるなんて大口叩いておきながら尻尾を巻いて逃げ出した。
それでも神は神だ。あの場ではまだ力が不完全で、数の不利を嫌ったにしても短期のサーバントを始末するくらいわけないだろうよ。
Yeah, she can take. She's a
ましてや
god,
マ
right?
スタ
It's
ーなんざ言う
Ishtar.
までもねえ。そういや、あの女、やけにお嬢ちゃんが持ってる聖杯に執着してやがったな。
聖杯はもはや願望機じゃないはずなのに。
Yeah, what is she
彼
trying
女
to
はこれを
do?
どうするつもりなの？
もしかすると、やっこさんはお嬢ちゃんと同じように聖杯じゃなく、中身の魔力の方を欲しがったのかもしれね
It's
え
the
な。
magical energy that's
つま
inside of
り
that.
彼女は眼力という制約を逃れて、まさしく神としての体を手に入れようとしてるってこと？
その通りみたいね。
Yeah, she's trying to ascend into
彼女
godhood.
は挑戦状を残していったわ。7日目を迎える前に、おとなしく聖宮列車フェスに聖杯を返却するようにと。
Alright, folks, we'll see you guys in about 30 seconds here.
自ら聖杯を奪いに来るそうよ。
It's not my first time saying a god. It's a good one. Yeah, no, now we're in trouble.
正面から戦うしかないわね。
Alright.
まさかこんな形で事件の中心に置かれるとは思わ
Yeah,
なかった
Archer's on
わ。
the other side.
しかも
This is gonna be a
よりによって
big,
アーチャー
big, big
が向こう
battle.
につくなんて、こんなドラマチックな展開が私に降りかかるとはね。
Yeah, a little bit.
運命もなかなか皮肉だ
Not
わ。
magic on these. No, it's
あの
not.
旧兵のマスターとしてはお嬢ちゃんの方が経験豊富なはずだろう。
そんなことないわ。というより本質的に別物なのよ。東大元暮らし、当事者が惑わされ、傍観者だけが見つけられることはあるものよ。
No worries. I love a good tragic backstory. No, we'll face this with you. We're right here.
ありがとう。はあ、しんみりしてても仕方ないか。さあみんな、これから忙しくなるわよ。遠坂の名誉にかけて誓うわ。この事件の幕引きを最良の形にするために全力を尽くすことを。私は彼女に勝つ。女神によ
Don't we
り
all?
完璧な自分に
Good tragic
打ち
backstory.
勝ってみせる。
へえ、どうやら俺のよく知るお嬢ちゃんに戻ったらしい。
なんだか頭がすっきりしてきたわ。この土地とのつながりが強
Ley
まっ
line
たのを感
connection
じ
up,
る。
I think.
今の私なら過去を前に進む力に変えられるかもしれない。
Archer. Okay. It's Archer's memory.
すげえな。あの疲れ果てた顔をこうも生々しく再現できるとは。
Does it always look like that?
称賛の言葉をありがとう。旅路の途中にある迷いや後悔なんて前へ進む礎に変えなきゃ損でしょ。
Interesting. Did she just... What? Manifested Archer? Wait, what? That's a thing? Okay. Now let's grab some stuff. Where was the stuff I could... Oh, reward guide. So many. Okay. Okay.
ことは重大よ。しっかり整理しないと。
Yeah, a lot of things happened. A lot of things happened. Let's move things around.
まず何より驚くべきことは、私と開拓者が真っ先に聖杯戦争から排除された部外者だったってこと。
We weren't really part of the seven. I see.
そして本来のアーチャー、そのマスターが女神に憑依されたもう一人の私だったことよ。あの場は大混乱だったけど、とにかく私たちは火花から疑心の書を回収することに成功した。そしてこの事実は彼女がキャストリスさんの 本当のマスターではなかったことを示している。これは探偵さんのおかげね。彼もまたサーバントの一機であの聖杯戦争における英雄王ギルガメッシュと対応していた。
just hanging around on his own. It's like, hey, I'm here too.
あの金ピカも今回の聖杯戦争から排除された側だったと思えば、いくらか気は楽になるかしらね。共犯者は捕らえた。ならあとは真犯人である女神イシュタルに集中するだけよ。
Done Ishtar. Ooh, okay. More shield. Additional shield, 50% current. Okay. Let's see. Wanted poster is funny, but... Okay. Yeah, I think that's the right strategy then here. Okay, these are Archer's things, no? Okay. Aha's funhouse mirror. Alright. Honestly, this part of the procedure is exactly the same as it was during the last 2 days. We can totally skip it, right? However, if I delete it arbitrarily, Master might get angry. Alas, I will just write it so I can graduate. Okay, who is this mystery writer intern thing? You need to graduate.
しっかりと英気を養いましょう。
Okay, you can turn everybody to a Megatron. Even if your inorganic lives have emotions that ebb and flow like the tide, channel her wrath towards the foe. Again, Archer, excuse me, you just willed him into existence. Identical traced card. Number of cards actually can trace per turn is limited. Okay, got it. Oh. Let's try this then. Okay, so there's a fake version of it. Okay. Focus on that one person, I think. That wasn't that crazy of a move. But they're all confused. Oh, except for that one. The others are just confused.
後破山
Shielding up, which is good. Who needs one energy? Ah, God. Okay. Man, this is rough. Okay, let's see. Let's heal up. Okay. No more phantasms, but it's so exciting though having Archer here now with Rin. This makes more sense to me. This is more my style. That's for sure. Ult? Ult.
受け取りやってやるわアンガルタ・キガルシュ
I think that's... I mean, I guess we can do this. See what that does. We're trying our best here. We're just trying our best. Ah, darn. We can catch one. Okay, let's try it again. Let's try it again. Alright, this is a Mechatron thing. Going all out. Okay, best I could do. That's round. Okay.
ダメだってば今カッコつけてるんだから
Okay. That might be good. Okay. Stacked up on shields, but is that enough?
また正面からこらこら周りの迷惑を考えないのか
Okay, let's see. Yeah, ult now. You can ult again. Two more. No ult.
I am the bone of my soul. Unlimited blade works.
Yeah, let's go. Amazing. Bootleg limited blade works. Nice. Okay, we got past the sparks. That you're getting a power from Ishtar, who's also in the same game as you, trying to win. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. An attempt was made. An attempt was being made there.
正面から勘弁してくれ
That should be okay. Come on. I mean, what's up? Oh, I guess we could do this again. There we go. Yeah, that's much we could do. But yeah, search down. Oh. Oh my gosh, Adelinity! Hello, welcome in. Thank you for the raid. Hello, how was Roblox? Hunterfall, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, hello, Adelinity. Welcome in. Thank you for the raid. It was good. Well, I'm glad to hear. This can give you. Oh, yeah, I think the shout-out's already up there, which is good. Lady Mayari as well. Hello, welcome in. Well, hello. We're just playing more Honkai Star Rail over here. But yes, thank you for the raid. Excuse me, I'm having some matcha. I was mid-sip. But hello, folks. Hello. For the raiders here. Good evening. Oh my gosh, Lady Mayari, thank you for the gifted. To Adelinity, yes. Oh my gosh, now Adelinity, you could use our lovely moving emotes Animated emotes for you. This is great. Oh, thank you, Lady Mayari. I do appreciate you. But yes, hello, Raiders. My name is Leo Arcturus. I am from, well, here, Parallel Universe, streaming to you live from Arcturus Station. And yeah, I am a space station proprietor and a variety streamer. So right now we're playing Honkai Star Rail, even though Cyberpunk is our long haul game. Been playing too much of that. Too much of Honkai lately, but I'm having fun. If you need to raid and run, please feel free to do so. I really appreciate you sharing your community with me. And we'll make sure I don't yell or something. something bad. Yell badly or something like that. But yeah, thank you again for sharing your community with me. We'll play more card games. Now you can make it snow more. Right! Moving snow. Oh, thank you, Lady Miari, for the emote buff. I do appreciate that. Yeah. It's snowing on stream. There we go, battle over. There's the emote buff for you, because we did lose the first match, so thank you for the luck there. Emote buff is working. Aha is a funhouse mirror. All non-elite enemy targets transform and attack each other on the next turn. Oh. I think we won't use that. 13 combo, not bad. Now, no, let me fade away. I will never allow future generations to remember me like this. Okay. There we go. They went away. 11 was last time, right? Going up. Number go up. Alright, let's see what this one is supposed to be. Master Thief Furbo. This treasure is all shiny and gold. If we auction it off the black market, it'll definitely fetch a pretty penny. Right then, I'll buy out the whole newspaper. Make both presidents and all the Furbos work for me, and become a Furbo of Furbos. I never have to lift a paw. A fur... Ew, when did you get here? Looks like someone's itching out there. Anyway. 4 bullets, sir. For Blitzer, who? I don't know them at all. It's all or nothing. We gotta strike first. Okay, that's what happened. What happened for Blitz? Repent, you group adults, what? I see. Now it has come to this. Time to find a way to make the corrupt master thief for Blitzer mend his ways. Okay, we're fighting for Blitzer. What do you... Okay, so you take photos. Oh, what? That was it? Wait, what? Do you have to go, though? Yes, please. Please rest well. Thank you for the raid. Good night, hopefully you rest well. Thank you. Was it... Okay, so the dude just up and left, basically. Yeah, we'll switch it with this one. But good night. Adeline, I do appreciate you being here. Okay, it was a fast fight. The dude just gave up. Took a photo and gave up. Do you have to raid and run as well? It was so much fun. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lady Miyari. Well, thank you for raiding and running. I do appreciate that. And again, thank you for the gifted. Of course, have an amazing stream. Hope every good stream. Nice, yes. Well, thank you. Yeah. No worries. We'll just continue on playing the card game. Oh, it's a DM. Finally, the time for revenge has come. Captured alive by a demigod to serve him as his claim to fame, and then hunted down in Caledon and treated like loot up for grabs. Tell me, why is it always the trotter gets hurt in the stories? Okay. Dear heavens, the pig is talking. Maybe... no, that's not true. Hand over to the... no, okay. Dear heavens, the pig is talking. This is playing... Acadia. Does conforming to the genre really matter that much? Not this time. I refuse to accept the destiny of wild trotters. I will defy it. And then you attack us, alright. Yeah. Okay. Huh? What? Alright. Words were spoken. Words were spoken today. Oh. Okay. Can we shield up? What exactly is this? Each stack of protect you can negate 1 instance of damage. All enemies protect. Oh, okay. There's 17 of protect use. 13 now. 19. Okay, we're just spamming. There goes Archer. And his crazy spamming. I think we'll be able to take this down today. Or this round. We didn't make it, did we? Gosh darn it. Okay. Oh, yeah. Damage boost, please. Thank you. 1 more damage boost. Thank you. Explosion. Ah, gosh. Okay. Chimera. We'll save the ults for next run. We kinda need to wait. See how we could... okay. Can trace 1 more. Okay, good. We'll try doing our best here. Prevent him from running. Okay, good. Trotter's down. Planetary. Yep. Destruction. Weapon. Weapons of mass planetary destruction. We got Ajax though, which is good. Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, this is a better shield, so... switch. Mom, Dad, I still couldn't overcome the fate of a trotter. No, it's sad. Alright, Mind's Eye now. This is Archer's skill, I believe. Copying really quickly. I am the bone of my sword. Steel is my blood. The glass is my heart. I have crossed 1,000 battlefields, unknown to losses, nor known to victories. So tell me, what is justice, anyway? Quit it already, that joke's gonna get you in trouble. That's true. Archer's gonna show up and beat the heck out of you. But that, and he will, in a few seconds here. Justice means making... Yeah, okay, I like that one. Making sure people's sacrifices aren't in vain. No. It's only the name that's easy to understand. This so-called champion of justice is just a pipe dream for those who can't adapt to human society. There are no villains to begin with, and there would be no need for champion of justice. But if villains exist, it's only because there are those who lament the world that doesn't bend to their will, pathetically beckoning for a champion of justice to come save them. In any case, the so-called champion of justice is just another name for human weakness. Trailblazer. I wish I'd never become a hero. Oh, what? What happened? Even if his body's a fake, it's still made of swords. Okay, true. Now that you've made it this far, it might be worth asking yourself, what kind of adult do you want to be? Yeah, who asked you? Exactly. Mind your own business. We'll take you down. Here comes the original Archer right here. Okay, so maybe this, and this. All right, good enough. Sanction mode. Ooh, healing. Okay. Yeah, shield up. Let's try this. Ooh. I'm farming now. Good. Let's see. Shield up. It's gonna be a long fight. Yeah, there we go. Very happy. One more time. To the ult. Or fake ult, I guess. Oh, it's so cool.
I am the bone of my soul.
Oh,
Steel
yeah.
is my body, and fire is my blood. I have created over 1,000 blades, unknown to death, unknown to life,
Yeah.
have withstood pain to create many weapons. Yet, those hands will never hold anything. So, as I pray,
Yep. Okay. Archer did the lines. Let's get these folk inside the reality marble to show them who's the real Archer.
unlimited blade works!
Makes me so happy. I know that was overkill, but hey. That was great. Yeah, go Archer, go. He got angry. He's like, you can't steal my lines. Not today, not in this life.
この程度。
ダメだってば。今カッコつけてるんだから。
Oh, I think we already got this. Yeah. Oh. Yep. I think that was it. Okay, okay. Oh, got Archer's Noble Phantasm in. There we go. Just let me drown, holding to my ideals. Okay. Angst, I respect that. Head over to the Red Knight, I believe it says. Oh, Argenti.
ここね。まだ遠くへ行っていないといいけど。
Oh, okay. So Argenti to been here.
お会いしましたね。赤いバラのように情熱的なお嬢さん。そして久しぶりですね、我が友。
我が友。
先ほど別れてからまだほんの20分ほどですが、それでもあなたが最も大切なものをすでに見つけていることを願いましょう。
What would that be?
誰？
It's Tristan, Knight of a Round Table. Okay. Let's take it. Let's talk in Honkai Star Rail terms. We're gonna confuse Tosaka. He's Argenti, a Knight of Beauty.
では改めて自己紹介を。僕はアルジェンティ、通りすがりの準備の騎士です。
So much
こ
sparkles
うし
in the
て
air.
再会できたことを光栄に思います。
再会？でも私はあなたと会ったことなんて。
ああ、なるほど。彼女が口にした邪悪なドッペルゲンガー、それがあなたなのですね。どうかお許しを。僕は彼女に誓ったのです。必ずやこの槍であなたを討ち取ると。ですが、一方でこの誓いが準備とは程遠いものであることもまた事実。
Dude's got luck.
故に
Unlucky.
誓いを改めさせていただきたい。騎士道にのっとり、あなたに決闘を申し込みます。幸運にも僕が勝利したならば、現像聖杯戦争を辞退することに同意し、そして準備の女神イドリラ様の美貌は世界に並ぶものなしとお認めください。
Alright. So why are you here? I won't say another word until we've settled this. Legend has it that chanting Idrilla, goddess of the beauty, is the fairest of them all 3 times in a row here. Lets you skip battles. Shall we try it? I think we should. Idrilla, goddess of the beauty, it is the fairest of them all. Is the fairest... Okay, I can't even say it right. I deserve to fight and not skip the battle.
いきなり戦うのよ。
いや、なんでい
それ
きなり。
にイドリラって誰？
お許しください。行動は言葉よりも雄弁。僕は口下手でして。
What? No. It's the opposite of that. For sure. Another one. Perfect. Thank you.
カナドボルグ戦山脱水
小賢しい。
カナドボルグ
Thinking Argenti has a round 2.
栄誉を見届けよ。
Oh, okay. Ask for reinforcements.
必ずしてやるからね。
Mm-hmm. Triggered the effect of 2 trace cards in the deck.
アーチャー、必ず追いついてみせるんだから。
Nice.
小賢しい。
Okay. One more time.
アーチャー、必ず追いついてみせるんだから。
カスバクヤもう少し手こずると思ったのだが
We're just
この決意を貫くわ。
whatever. Yep.
アーチャー。
We're just playing the heart of the cards here. Whatever shows up, shows up. Cute. Okay.
それ。
Alright, we tried our best.
戦前の礼を。友よ、全力を出してください。
Okay.
正面から
Barrier.
しかし、必ずしてやるからね。
Alright, let's see what we can do.
合わせ鏡の攻防よ、無限を貫け。
Try that again.
無限の旅路よ、ここに交われ。
So we got through. Ulting once. Can we do it again? After this, I think you can, no? Ah, no, okay.
イシタル、受け取りやってやるわ。アンガルタ・キガルシュ。
And then explosion. Yes, there we go. Phase 2, as I thought. Alright, good thing we can shield up for this, just in case. So one more energy to do something. So we'll get more shields.
準備の勲章。
Okay.
始め
Yep.
ましょう。
正面から勘弁してくれ
Yep.
この決意を貫くわ、アーチャー。宝石剣。
Okay. One more time,
もう
please.
少し手こずると思ったのだが
小賢しい。
Alright. We have more where that came
決意も
from.
覚悟も足りなかったな
I guess it's a problem when we're fighting many enemies. We don't know.
必ず追いついてみせるんだから。
Let's get nice here. This one.
戦山脱水。
Is it time? Oh, okay. A little bit of a okay. Cause and effect here. We'll wait for next turn to ult.
懺悔しなさい。
また正面からか。
友よ、全力を出してください。
この程度か。こらこら、周りの迷惑を考えないのか。
Medias. Yep. There we go. Very happy. Shield up or
無限の旅路よ、ここに交われ。
one more time.
合わせ鏡の攻防よ、無限を貫け。
決意も覚悟も足りなかったな。
You only one enemy left, right? So this is kind of worth it.
これも試練。
One more time, please.
決意も覚悟も足りなかったな。
それ。
Do this. And then we'll ult.
これも試練。
I am the bone of my soul. Steel is my body, and fire is my blood.
We're gonna let
I
him say the whole thing
have
again.
lived over 1,000 blades, unknown to death, unknown to life. Have withstood pain to create many weapons.
Yep.
Yet, those hands will never hold anything. So, as I pray,
Limited blade marks.
unlimited blade works.
Yep. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. We're at 90 now, I think. Oh no, so 86. Resonated with a strange voice intertwined in Red Knight. A certain someone's trail has been detected.
なんと美しい。
I have to write that,
これ
read
ほど
that
の
quickly.
美しさを見せつけられては負けを認めざるを得ません。
なんて力。本当にサーバントじゃないの？
Just
滅
Argenti.
相もない。この身は未だ準備の極意へ至れぬまま。
Yeah,
お
those
二人の
shield
おかげで
summons are
確
pretty
信
good.
しました。今の僕ではかの美しき恩寵を授かるにはふさわしくなかったということでしょう。
この眼力、イシュタルの？
そう。彼女はそう名乗りました。たとえこの銀河に属していなかろうと、彼女もまた準備の道を行くものなのです。
Oh, okay. I want to be a knight of the goddess too. Now, how did you become Ishtar's follower?
アルジェンティさん、あなたは多分
Yeah.
彼女に騙されたのよ。彼女は自分がこの世界で神になるために二層楽園のすべてを
Yeah,
犠
that's
牲
gonna
に
be
するつもりよ。
problematic.
放っておくわけにはいかないわ。
彼女も同じように言っていました。実に
Oh,
一
really?
言一句たがわずに。
はあ？
僕はどのような相手であれ、その理念を尊重したいと考えています。
Okay,
たと
and
え
you're
それ
okay
が
with it?
準備の神座を狙うものであったとしても。ですが、彼女の語る計画は確かに非常に危険なものに思われました。故に、僕は彼女に決闘を申し込んだのです。しかし、あの優雅で華麗、そして大胆な勝負を経て、我々の誤解は解かれました。彼女はただ遠坂凛という少女の願いを叶えたかっただけ。彼女の 最も大切なものを取り戻してあげたかっただけなのです。
Yeah, it is her. Wait a second. What's going on?
つまり邪悪なドッペルゲンガーはまた別にいるということですね。
それも多分私なんだけど。
Too many.
彼女はただあなたを利用しようとしただけ。結局騙されてたんじゃない？
いいえ、彼女の焦りと迷い、誰かを助けようとする気持ちはこの上なく真摯なもの。決して偽りではありませんでした。彼女は確かにあなたのために全てを尽くそうとしています。準備の騎士の名にかけて誓いましょう。彼女は間違いなく美の体現であると。
He's in it.
それは
He's in it.
あなたたちの過去に何があったかを僕は知りません。騎士道に従い、敗者としてこれ以上はどちらのために戦うこともできません。しかしそれでも一言だけ言わせてください。あなたたちの間に起きたこのいさかいはどちらかの死によって決着させる必要などありません。なぜならあなたたちの魂はどちらも美しく気高いものなのですから。
Sounds rough.
あまり重苦しく考える必要はありませんよ。これはすれ違う旅人同士が互いに旅の無事を祈るようなものです。この銀河がいつまでも美しくあらんことを。さようなら、赤きバラのごとき少女よ。どうかあなたたちが最も大切なものを、一つの物語の終わりにあらゆる物質的な均衡の果てに無から生まれたものを取り戻せますように。
He just walks away.
ほんとおかしな人ね。でもありがとう。
I was here to help.
彼の言うイシュタルの探していた大切なものだけど、
That's right.
きっと私たちの持つ聖杯のことでしょうね。どうやら彼女も万全ってわけじゃないみたい。ちょっとほっとしたわ。私たちは私たちの冒険を続けましょう。まあこの辺りで一息つくくらいは大丈夫かしら。ほらメッセージが来てるみたいよ。
For you or us? It's Asteris. Let's take a look. Mr. York Tourist, are you with Miss Tosaka? Tosaka, if possible. I'd like to ask you to meet me at the Parallax Tower later. There's something I want to tell you. About that battle earlier. Please do come. Okay. We'll head over there. After we confirmed that the Red Knight was an archer, Miss Casteris suddenly sent a message asking to meet at the Parallax Tower. Whoa. Whoa.
私の師匠、こういうのが好きなのよね。ここを離れる前にお土産を買いに来るつもりだったけど、予定が早まっちゃったわ。
Oh, the
それで
Gunpla.
キャストリスさんはどこ？まだ到着してないのかしら。
ほら見て見てお姉ちゃん、ニカドリーまであるよ。
Oh.
声が大きいですよ。
何？
幽霊？幽霊じゃなくて。
お二人ともすみません。つい夢中になってしまって気づくのが遅れてしまいました。このハデスの隠れ兜はちょっと便利すぎるかも。
驚いたわ。あなたたちと来たら財宝まで冥界とつながりがあったのね。それでそちらは？
妹のボリュシアです。今は私のマスターでもあります。
Interesting.
お二人をお呼びしたのはこうして
You're no longer
直接
streamers.
お礼をお伝えしたかったからなんです。お礼？もし眼力がなければ、あなたがこの世界を訪れなければ、聖杯が永遠の1ページの記憶を現実にしていなければ、お二人が起こした一連の奇跡がなければ、私たちはこうしてここに存在することもできなかったでしょう。
Okay. I'm just hanging. Yeah, I'm glad to see you again.
久しぶりの再会なのね。よかったわ。ただ残念だけど、この聖杯はもう願いを叶えることはできないと思う。
That's right.
少なくとも今回の聖杯戦争では無理でしょうね。
この目隠しの布があれば十分だよ。私たちは初めからなるべく目立たず、ただこの都会暮らしをじっくり楽しむつもりでした。
I guess that's
ですが、
nice.
真っ先に火花さんに見つかってしまい、
Post is writing, so fortune to
彼女は
contract with me.
疑
Not
心
just
の
with
書
you.
を
Ah,
用いて
right.
強引に私と契約を結んだのです。結果的に皆さんと刃を交えることになってしまいました。ですが彼女は私たちを傷つけようとしたり、度を越した命令をしようとはしませんでした。
No good.
あの時の変身を除いてですが、ごめんなさい。いいんです。それもまた一風変わった現代生活の一部だったということでしょう。
It's a good lesson to have.
少なくとも私たちはデリバリーの利用方法を覚えられました。
Delivery
昨
Ryoho.
日は車とバイクの免許試験をまとめてクリアしちゃったんだよ。
Did she?
まあ
She could drive a
無
car
理や
now.
り受験させられたんだけどね。
It's funny. Then piloting a mech shouldn't be a problem either.
いいのですか？失礼しました。
Yep.
お褒めに預か
That'd
り
be cool though,
光栄
Caceres in a
です。
mech.
他にも数えきれないほどの出会いを経験しました。永遠の1ページに戻って皆さんに全てを語るのに3日3晩では
Yeah,
足りないかもしれませんね。
that would be fun.
ニカドリーと魔導メカ鎧の戦力比較をするだけでも丸1日かかっちゃいそうだもんね。
へえ、あなたたち、もしかしてメカ鎧に興味があるの？
The Gundams, I mean,
あなたたちをここへ呼んだのはお礼を選んで渡そうと思ったからなんだけど、
ah,
実はメカ鎧を近くで見てみたい気持ちもあって、いつの間にかすっかり夢中になっちゃった。現代社会の甘い誘惑なんて恐ろしい。よろしければお二人も一緒にもう少しここを見て回りま
you
せ
have
ん
your
か？
arms in the building.
サプライズではなくなってしまいましたが、お二人が本当に気に入ったものをお送りできるならそれも良いと思うのです。
I already have Awakening. Yeah, let's call it my treat.
よし、俺が全員分のプレゼントを買ってあげよう。
ダメだよ。二人は恩人なんだから。
I'm the host after all.
みんなはこの星のお客さんだからおごらせるわけにはいかないだろう。大盤振る舞いだ。今夜の支払いは全部俺がするからな。
What?
じゃあ
We're so
お言葉
boastful.
に甘えて。
Oh, that's cute. All right, yeah, go buy. Yeah, go buy the stuff. Company written, yep, in the master.
ね
Yep.
えねえお姉ちゃん、パーフェクト壊滅エンジンと超稼働グラモスの鉄器だったらどっちがかっこいいか
What is this?
な？どっちもダメです。お値段が。
大丈夫。 俺なら顔パスでいけるから。
What cow pasta?
お姉ちゃん
That's a thing.
顔パスなんだって。それでもダメです。
なんだか和むわね。
Mm-hmm.
ちょっと意外だったかも。なんとなくだけど、彼女たちはさくらみたいにもっと古風な趣味を持っているものだと思ってたわ。
A writer. Oh yeah, I guess we don't know Sakura. I guess yeah, Trailblazer does not know.
あ
But
あ、
Mato.
そういえば、
Yeah.
まだ話してなかったっけ。実は私にも妹がいるのよ。マトさくら。
Yeah.
名字は違うけど、同じ両親から生まれた実の妹よ。お菓子や甘いもの、それと階段が好きな女の子。
Down. Huh. Loving horse tours is Soji culture now. There really are a lot like Hasterus and her sister that.
でも、
やっぱりこっち。どうかな、お姉ちゃん。お姉ちゃん大丈夫？大丈夫。心配ありません。時間はまだありますから。
Oh no.
もう少し一緒に見て回りましょう。
なんでもないわ。あの子たちも選び終わったみたいだし、続きを見て回りましょう。
More Gundams to look at.
おや、あちらにランナー技術の展示があるようです。見たい。
Whoa. The injection molding stuff.
これが科学の魅力ってことなの？
I like seeing it scaled up like this though.
実はもう選んでやるの。あんたが見てない間にね。
Oh. Okay.
こういうおもちゃの何が面白いのかずっとわからなかったんだけど、こうして実物を目の前にして、しかも眼力によって魂が宿る様を見せられちゃったら、世界に好奇心を抱くものならきっと誰もが憧れるものなのね。
すごい。ですが残念ながらメカ鎧がどのようにして動いているのか最後まで説明はありませんでしたね。
Mechanics.
やっぱり企業秘密なのかな。
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Can I not say that? Allow me to expose Prolux trade secret.
それは思いの投影だ。
思いの投影。
投影。つまり精神分析における転移に近い概念ってこと？
Okay. Transference.
なんだか難しそうな話ですね。
いいえ、簡単よ。
Mm.
例えばキャストリスさん、あなたはボリュシアさんのことを愛しているでしょ？
それはその家族としてという意味であればもちろんです。ボリュシアは私にとって最愛の妹ですから。
じゃあ今度は彼女によく似た女の子がいるって想像してみて。きっとあなたは妹へ向けていた感情をその子に投影して、妹にしていたのと同じように接してしまうんじゃないかしら。
そうなの？お姉ちゃん。
もちろんここで言う投影は無意識がそうさせるものよ。たとえ本人が主観でどう捉えていたとしても、
that's what transference means.
潜在意識に影響されるものだから。A に対して抱いていた感情をよく似た B に向けて投影する。これが精神分析における転移なの。
つまりメカ鎧が動けるのは誰かがそれとよく似た何かを見たことがあるからということでしょうか。
Is that how it works in that world?
その逆かな。誰もがそういうものを見たいと願ったから、メカ鎧には命が宿ったんだ。
I see.
現像の本質は人々が叶えたいと願う現実だから。
おお、なるほどね。完全に理解したよ。それで結局メカ鎧はどうして動くの？
Did we miss a question? Quantum mechanics. Path power. Maybe. Let's try this one. I have no idea though. I don't know.
さっぱりわからない。ステラは何も教えてくれなかったしな。
あの時、あなたは無意識のうちにもっと強く、もっと完璧でありたいと願った。
Ah, there it is.
そうすれば、目の前の危機から逃げ切れるとでも思ってるみたい。
Transference. The praying to, yeah.
この二層楽園に一つの現像生命体、もう一人の遠坂凛が。
イシュタルについて考えているのですか？
Oh. Does she know?
その疑問についてであれば、私からもお話しできることがありそうですね。
あら、キャストリスさんにはそこまで見抜けるの？
実際のところ、それほど複雑な問題ではないのかもしれません。
待った。その前にまず会計しよう。
賛成です。
Why is he weirdly acted in this scene? Voice acted in this scene. Pay or use a smarter way to pay. Okay.
みんなにプレゼントを買ってあげたいんだけど。
Alright, let's ask Tosaka, what did you pick?
私が選んだのはこれ。合金パムキングよ。
Pumpkin.
開拓。そしてあなたからの贈り物だって言うなら、これ以上のものはないでしょ。
That's cute.
ところで、これを私たちからのプレゼントとして2人に送るって言ったら、あなたはどう思う？
Okay. Castris, what did you pick?
私と妹が選んだのは合金パムキングです。
Very
開
popular.
拓の、いえ、この銀河の象徴としてこれ以上にふさわしい贈り物はないかと思いましたので、よろしければ
Can't see it though.
これを
My
遠坂さんへの贈り物とさせていただきたいのですが。
interesting. Wait a second. Swapping twice means back to no. You two are the real sisters here. Say that. Yeah, me too. Eh? Eh?
パムキング合金武装999が2点ですね。お支払い方法はどうなさいますか
？Okay, we have gonna make up an employee ID.
この番号で頼む。
Oh, I'm not sure if it'll work.
これはパールさんの社員番号じゃ。
何しろこちらの皆さんは初めてこの銀河を訪れた大切なお客さんだからな。
Maybe remember that.
カンパニーの名義で送られた方が誠意が伝わるってものだろう。もう少し見学するつもりだから、週刊たぬき編集部まで配送をお願いしてもいいかな。よし、逃げろ。
Okay.
ご購入いただいた商品のご用意ができました。あれ、お客様
？Why did we need to run? We got through
満
already.
点だったね。やっぱり全力を出したらこの車椅子はゴーナースさんよりずっと速いと思ってた
We
んだ。
didn't really go far, but okay. It's reportedly beautiful. No. Now we can now we can get down to business.
私たちは生涯この聖杯戦争を忘れることはないでしょう。
それが旅の意味というものよ。けど、そんな大事な意味を持つ記念品を私に譲ろうだなんて。どうしてそんなことを？
理由は、あ なたと同じです。この記念品が自分よりも相手にとって大切なものだから。
そうよ。だってあなたたちこの銀河へ来るのは初めてだったんでしょ。
Like the pose.
ですが、
gosh.
もっと深い理由があります。私にもあなたにも。分かっています。遠坂さんの理由は遠坂さんだけのものですから。それについてはひとまずお互い胸に秘めたままにしておきましょう。遠坂さんが再び旅立てるよう、今は何としてもイシュタルを打ち破らなくては。
伝説に歌われる女神を倒す。
Yeah.
なんだか紡がれた物語にある黄金衛たちの冒険譚みたい。おかしな偶然もあったものね。
ええ。そして私たちはそのためにここにいるのです。遠坂さんがかの女神に打ち勝つために、私たちの力を役立てていただきたいのです。
Okay.
さすがは女子誌の英雄ね。でもタイタンを倒した方法ってメソポタミアの神にも同じように機能するかしら。
遠坂さん、まだお気づきになりませんか？私は倒すのではなく打ち勝つと言ったのです。
打ち勝つ
We win?
はい。タイタンであれ神々であれ、それらの存在を前にした人類があまりに矮小であることは否めません。アリが巨獣に挑み、まして倒そうなどと考えるのはあまりに無謀です。だけど勝負のルールを自分たちで用意できたとしたら、アリが巨獣に打ち勝つ方法だって無数にあるはず。人類が綴った無数の女子誌はすべてそのようにして生まれてきたのです。ですからね、私たちで作りましょう。遠坂さんのための聖杯戦争を。
Okay. Oh. Nothing goes wrong.
私が無茶しなければきっと大丈夫だよ。火花さんのサーバントとして過ごしていた間、あちらのアーチャーさんから冬季で起こったことについて聞く機会がありました。おかげで聖杯戦争そのものについてもいくらか理解を深められたと思います。その上で現状の私たちが実行可能な策はこれ以外にないかと。
アーチャーから？へえ、それは悪くない話ね。あの女神と心中する気はないってことだもの。
Okay.
でもそっか、私のための聖杯戦争。なるほど。つまり私がイシュタルより先に聖杯の魔力を取り込むことで相手に奪われる可能性を排除しておきたい。そういうことね。
Before we start one, hello, welcome in. Thank you for the first time chat. Hi Leo, my name is Torian and go by she, her, because I'm only into many VTubers. Does it make me so happy? So, well, hello, welcome in. I'm glad we are able to entertain and make you happy. But hello, welcome in. Well, thank you. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy your time over here. We're just cozily listening to Tosaka and other folks here. Emotes are so cute, and oh yeah, they are very, very well made. I think they should all have the yeah, the artists. What call it? Credits on them. they're also on my profile. Yeah, artists are really, really amazing. Oh, my model as well. Yes. Well, thank you. Yes. Let's see. Real fast. Yeah. This is, I guess, more of the model. This is made by Chungi, my VTuber mom dad. Rigged and art and rigged, but we have design is from Toast. We also have a alternate outfit. Maybe we'll change to this for the rest of the stream. But welcome in. Thank you for hanging out, saying hello and hanging out. Let me go back to the focus. There we go. Yeah, we'll use this for now. I think this will be good.
けど今あるこの聖杯についての儀式は
Hopefully you're doing well
もう
tonight.
組み上がった後でしょ。この聖杯でもう一つ儀式を構築するのは難しいと思うけど。
ふふん、そこは心配いらないよ。
You have an idea?
だってこの聖杯戦争にはもう一つ聖杯があるんだから。
What was I drinking with that reveal? There's 2 grails. Excuse me, what?
まあこの際理由はいいわ。
Unexpected, it makes perfect sense. It doesn't make
もう
sense
一
to
つ
me.
の聖杯が
What?
今どこにあるかっ
What
て
is
こと。
going on?
大丈夫。私たちみんなよく知ってる人が持ってるから。あったらきっと驚くんじゃないかな。
Is it Gilgamesh?
今どこにいるかまではわからないけど、あの二人ならきっと遠坂さんにとって心強い味方になってくれると思う。
Eh? Dare. Is it Lancer and
こ
Kuchiba?
れで残る問題は一つだけ。
Okay.
遠坂さん、あなたはこの二層楽園を救うために旅を諦められますか？
Oh no. Yeah, that's rough. It's not a fair thing. I'm going to actually say both if I could. It's not a fair thing to ask. We might still have other options.
いいえ、他にどんな方法があったとしてもこれ以上に確実な方法なんてないでしょうね。
Oh.
それにもう誓っちゃったもの。事件を最良の形で終わらせるってここまで来たのに代償があるからって尻込みしてたら英雄たちに笑われるわ。何かを失ったならまた取り戻せばいい。何も失わないと信じているからこそ私はここまでやってこられた。大丈夫。覚悟なら旅に出るときにもう決めてるから。
Oh wow. Okay. I'll nod as well. Yes.
遠坂さん、そう重く考えないでください。
Where's the test?
神に打ち勝つ。その役目を担うのは
Okay.
私たちですから。
え？
たとえどれほど無数の財宝であろうと、その価値は2つの魂には及ばない。そうは思いませんか？
まさかあなたたち自分たちの現像の体を聖杯に投じ
It's
て
the
魔力に変え
the
るつもり？
hug. The previous not being able to hug Casterus is yeah. Oh no.
ダメ！そんなのダメよ！
Sacrifice.
ご心配ありがとうございます。
Thank you for worrying about us. Tosaka.
神の力というのは想像以上に強大なもののようです。ほんの一瞬彼女を足止めしただけで
Oh no.
私たちは力の大半を使い果たしてしまいました。この二層楽園での旅を最後まで 皆さんと一緒に歩みたかったのですが。
No, why are you doing this again?
思っていた形とは少々違いますが。
Oh no.
これもまたお二人と一緒に歩んだと言えるかもしれませんね。
Okay. That's not fair. That isn't fair.
私と妹はすでに覚悟を決めています。
I mean, is that true?
もともとこの現像の体は偶然が生んだ奇跡に
Do you think Rin is taking emotional damage because Castress also looks the most like Sakura? Matol Sakura, yeah, her sister. Well, they were syncing a lot as well. Yeah, the purple, pink hair color and temperament of like being a... Yeah, I mean, look at this here. They're also syncing a lot while we were hanging out and stuff, so... Yeah, I could see that. A lot of emotional damage for this Rin.
多くの願いを叶えられて、私たちは本当に
The sacrifice. That's a Sakura thing to do too. But thank you for the 20 stream streak. I do appreciate that, phone.
この喜びをお二人と分かち合うことができたのですから、これ以上何を望むというのでしょう。それに皆さんが紡がれた物語の中で、私たちの新たな冒険譚を心待ちにされていますから、あまりお待たせしてはいけませんよね。私たちと遠坂さんの背負う使命はきっと別のもの。しかし人々は自然の法則を変えられるものもまた等しく自然そのものだと考えがちです。それが火を追う旅であれ、魔術であれ、あるいは運命であろうともですが、
Yeah, March wouldn't be able to pull this up all. No. No. Not at all. I think this is... We're in a... This is a good combo.
避け得ぬ喪失の旅であったとしても、旅の中で手にした絆だけは決して失われることはありません。死の祝福によって、私と妹は
I know, yeah.
生まれながらに
We haven't... Okay, I only know the story. In this like, save file, I don't have anything from the next place after Penacony yet. But I've been watching people's streams, so I have an idea what's going on. But yeah, this is sad. No, Castress.
私の身は日追いに捧げられる運命でしたが、最後の瞬間にようやく気づくことができました。私たちは運命にとらわれているのではなく、一度失い、そして再び手にしたすべてを守るために
Apparently,
進み続けてきたのだと。
kind of 60 hours or something. Apparently, it's gonna be a big chunk of stuff. I might do it off stream. Me neither. I only recently picked up the... Yeah, Finon. The Finon bro, right. Kevin 2.5. My word. Yeah, and you have what's the other person's name? 1 second. I should know this. Wow, the wiki page is gigantic. Yep, this is definitely a 60 over. But yeah, My Day, there we go. Forgotten. People say it's better to consider as its own game. Yeah, it's gigantic. But My Day / Gilgamesh. I wonder what happens when Gilgamesh meets My Day. You're gonna laugh at each other? Probably. Just have that. Whoa. What does he say? Yeah, that'd be really fun to see. Let's see. What would be a good one? Yeah, they'll just laugh at each other, I think. And you can throw in Ozymandias in there too, like Ozzy, and they'll just laugh at each other. Like, oh yeah, exactly, like just chuckling. Like, That's it. That'll be it. That'll be it. That's how they're gonna be talking to each other. Alright, let's see. Keep continuing.
それが旅の終わりに私がようやく手にできた絆。私たちが輪廻を断ち、銀河に知性の種をまくことができた理
What
由。
Kizuna means? Bond? Okay.
私たちはもう人なのだと。
Hito na... Okay.
それこそが私が人生で授かった
Oh.
最も大切なものだったのです。
Right.
今私はそれをあなたに託したいと思っています。
Right, Rin. We gotta beat him.
感謝の気持ちと
We
し
gotta
て、
beat him up.
そして何より同じ旅人への祝福として、
Oh, so she can
誰
continue
の
her
目に
journey.
もあなたは確かに明星のように輝いて見えることでしょう。
Oh gosh.
どうかいつまでもずっと変わらずに
Casper's too nice.
輝き続けてください。
Mental damage. All the emotional damage.
キャストリスさん、ボリュシアさん、
Borussia mo.
あなたたちが向けてくれた信頼は
Mm-hmm.
絶対に裏切らない。そして最も大切な私が旅を続けるためのこの力もね。
Okay then. I love the smirky face. It's a bratty face, right? I increase ally attack and max HP.
これで
Okay.
ライダーキャストリスの秘密は明らかになったわ。
Well,
彼女の本当のマスターは
oh.
彼女と一緒に
Mm-hmm.
現像の命を与えられた妹ボリュシアだった。
Yeah.
彼女たちが手にしていた財宝はハデスの隠れ兜。
Oh.
戦いに加わるつもりのなかった二人にとってはおあつらい向きの宝物だったでしょうね。
Right.
けど不運にも彼女たちは火花に目をつけられ、共犯者の共犯者に仕立て上げられてしまったと。
Mm.
決戦は近い。でも今の私は確信しているわ。最後に勝利するのは私たちなんだって。
We'll try. We'll try. Oh, actually, no. We will. It will happen because, you know, Castorus, Felicia, kind of, you know, we owe it to them to get the final victory. What? Cannot draw this card? What does it do then? Okay, we'll replace it. Just have it with us. Still have Saber. Waiting in the wings here. Day 4. How many days are there? Holy cow. Everything's ready. All that's missing is the Holy Grail. Even with the Holy Grail, my level cap still won't reach 120. Wait, FGO. Why is there Fate Go reference? I mean, that kind of makes sense. New message. Alright, let's pull out our phone. Morning, my trailblazer. This is a message for you. If you're awake, please come to the rooftop of Graphia Academy, where we first met. A surprise awaits. Alright. Let's see if we can grab some more rewards here. Ooh, lots of good stuff there. Don't know what am I looking for to adjust. Oh yeah, these things. Yeah. Having Archer here does seem to be, yeah, it feels natural, so we'll keep that. No, don't want to purchase level. That's fine. Okay. Wow, that was rough. Just hits you with the out of nowhere. The Caceres. Man, emotional damage just gets chucked at you. Let's see. Should we try and continue just a tiny bit more? And then we'll end it for the night. I think that would be good. Our reporters are hard at work. It seems. Let's see. Word guide. Can I don't like having the thingamabobs. But why snack dash? Oh, Kev. Oh my gosh, Choom. Welcome in. Welcome folks from the land of Night City. How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing A-okay. What have I been treated? Thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate the raid. Oh, hello, folks. Hello. Let me just let's get some music and then while we say hello to everybody. Hello, welcome in. Let me just read it real fast. I'm a Canadian raccoon VTuber who recently streamed Cyberpunk 2077 after winning a poll with hence my hello there. The content includes chaotic gacha polls, visual novels, and even Final Fantasy XIV RP in public. Hey, Choom. It's Nova. We're just continuing the Holy Grail War. But yeah, I do appreciate you with the raid. I do appreciate that. But yeah, we're just continuing this Holy Grail War and Seihai Senso Tsuzukimasu. Let's see. All right, let me do my raid thingamabobby real quick. Oh, where's my coat? Where'd my coat go? Coat doko. Coat koko. There we go. Well, hello, folks. Good evening. Thank you for the raid. If you need to raid and run, please feel free to do so. But yes, my name is Leo Arcturus. I am the space station proprietor here at the Arcturus Station. And yeah, streaming to you all live from a parallel universe. Just, you know, right now we're just doing some Honkai Star Rail, but my long-haul game is actually Cyberpunk 2077 as well. But yeah, how far did you get if you're not going to go EP anytime soon? Hopefully, that chip in your head isn't treating you too badly. But yeah, welcome in. If you guys, again, if you need to raid and run, feel free to do so. And thanks, Kev, for sharing your community with me. We'll play for a little bit more and then go to bed. Long 2 days ahead for me, preparing for some travel that I'm going to be doing next week. Move over here. Etc. Hello. Welcome and thanks for the first time chat. I do gotta get some food and eat though. Yes, please feel free to get your noms and your rest. Again, I do appreciate that. Got to the part where Johnny's in your... Oh, good. Okay. Man, that's a long tutorial, wasn't it? But yeah. Well, I wish you luck as you continue your journey into Night City. Yes, thanks for the emote buff. So we're gonna continue. Should change my team though. Good. Right now my team it's good, but it's not in the spirit of this. In the spirit of... Where is my Fate team? There we go. No healers, but, you know. Super long intro, I know. How long did that take you? 5 to 6 hours? Took us 6 over here. Oh, wow. Almost. The hairline almost is the same. Holy moly. Alright. I didn't even notice that. Wait, it's Saber is Tosaka and Saber the same height? Because canonically, I think Saber's shorter. I think Saber's 5'3". Even 5'1". Okay. Tosaka. Someone's 5'3". Yeah, Tosaka's 5'3", right. So Saber should be shorter than Tosaka. 7 hours, oh my gosh. Must be the heels. Those look almost the same heel. But okay. All good. I'm talking like 2 inches here. Not really that big of a difference. Oh, anyways, let's go ahead and meet up with Rin here. That way. Up there. Down here. Etc. You're tall as Rin. There we go. 5'3" gang then. They buffed Rindo, if you know what I mean. Ah! Yes, the fighting style has been improved. Well, technically she is older here, no? Does look cuter here. Yeah. Outfit's also really, really well done, actually. This new imaginated version of her. It's very Archer coded, right? Which makes sense. You know, I think they even use the same texture materials. Almost rose goldy. Yeah. So, it's good. The Saber and Gilgamesh combo, though. I mean, it kind of doesn't make... Yeah, it's fine. But, yeah, the Tosaka Archer combo is great. They look great together. It's like they designed... Like, when they got Archer out, I think they already had the Tosaka out design, either finalized or almost done. Shouldn't she be a caster? Isn't Ishtar Ishtar is a caster. I think Ishtar... Isn't Ishtar a rider? Well, no, okay, I'm thinking about the Ishtar that I have in a Faith Go. The one that's riding the Vespa. From that summer thing a long time ago. But, well, over here, Tosaka is a master, actually, in the Imagine Holy Grail War. And we are, actually, not... Oh, yeah, Ishtar is archer. Right. It makes sense, the ult. Yeah, I don't think I have Ishtar. I have Ereshkigal, but I don't have the original. I don't have the original Ishtar on my. I haven't pulled her at FGO. Ah. No. There's so many forms of these folks, so no worries. Is that a Primo? She made a Primo. It'd be funny if she can synthesize Saint Quartz, man. That'd be great. Alright, let's go ahead and continue. There's Tosaka. Is it gonna trigger a cutscene if you get too close? Ah, it did. Oh well. Did you drop something? Ah, she did. Is that your secret money stash? No. Is that some kind of secret weapon? Has to be. Your weapons, you throw you throw crystals at things and they explode. Mm-hmm.
これは奇襲に備えて仕込んでおいた防御術式なの。あの時は回収する暇がなくて慌てて離れちゃったから。ああ。遠坂の魔術特性転換を生かしてこの宝石にはあらかじめ魔力が込めてあってね。襲撃者の魔術を相殺するためのそうね車のエアバッグをイメージしたらわかりやすいかしら。
Yeah, Mr. B. Yeah, cute. But yeah, I do like the idea back in the day when I first heard or learned that, yeah, you know, my fighting style is my family has put mana into this crystal or gem for 20 years or 10 years or so. And then I'm just going to use them all in this Holy Grail war, like, you know, like she prints money or something. It's insane.
やっぱり宝石が人為的に破壊されている。これじゃあ魔術霊装として使えないわ。
Nope, there goes her secret stash. I know it's Ishtar.
でも今まずいのはむしろイシュタルの方よ。
Oh.
現像生命である彼女にとって神聖はかえって稼
She has to survive. She requires even more wish power than original.
存在を維持するのに普通の現像種とは比べ物にならないほど膨大な。
Yeah.
それこそ
her plan is
天文学
to
的な数字の量の眼力が必要に
get
なるはずな
everybody
もの。だから
to
こんな
worship
微
her
弱な力
in
さえ
this
見逃
in
せ
this
なかっ
reality.
た。
So
イシュタルは今よほど追い込まれているみたい。この砕けた宝石が何よりの証拠よ。へえ、
それが伝説の剣かい。
Shiro?
おまけで僕が勝ったらその剣ももらうっていうのはどうかな。
これは王を選別するための剣です。持ち主が正しき行いを貫くか、完璧なる王となった時、聖剣の名に恥じぬ力を振るいます。あなたのような高潔な方であれば、聖剣も応えるでしょう。ですが、負けるつもりは毛頭ありません。
なら遠慮なく行かせてもらうよ。
え、どういうこと？校舎にサーバントがいるわ。急いで様子を見に行きましょう。
okay, here we go.
バスケットコート？
Oh, that's funny. It's funny that Archer shows up. For that. All right, let's look at our friend of the long fated night. Yes, indeed. Many stayings. Many would also say unlimited blades are being worked on as well. So let's do this. Does it make sense? Here we go. I love the friend of Champion of Justice. They're operating a very, if you know, you know type of... Oh, sorry about that, folks.
気をつけて。この先から気配を複数感じるわ。
Okay.
面白い。
Here we go.
尊きものとは手に入らぬからこそ美しいのだ。体毛に駆られ人の領分を超えようとする
Oh man,
若
it
者
would
が
be funny
こ
if
こ
they
に
showed
二
us a
人も
saber
い
in
る
the
と
back
は
there.
実に滑稽だ。久しいな、セイバ
ー。ここにも服をちゃんと着ない男がいるのか。僕の見間違いじゃないよな。
Yeah,
マスター、私の後ろへ。この男、いろいろと難はありますが、手強い相手です。
So Saber is in this one too.
財宝が目当てならかかってくるといい。正々堂々、我が剣で迎え撃と
ー。いいだろう。それでこそ俺が見込んだ女よ。だが今はまだこの胸に飛び込む時ではない。
Hey, Gilgamesh.
おい、そこの白髪の命令だ。貴様の剣をこの俺に向け。
Do they remember? They remember
孤独に
Fuyutsuki.
火を背負う者がその猛火を支配しうるか。その答えを貴様の剣で示せ。
Fine on. Is Saber's master? Ah, there we go. Okay, there. Two Sabers.
その戦い方、面白いな。どんどん来い。
せいぜい逃げ惑
え。Yeah, there's a laugh.
マスター。いや、今回は同じサーバントの実
Yeah, yeah. You remember the first Holy Grail War in Penacony, okay?
貴様、イーシュタルか。いや、それとも。
久しぶり。やっぱり、また会おうかな。
同感です。ですが立場が違えば、剣を交えねばならないこともあるでしょう。
We're extra. We're not in the war. I think we're an extra pair. We're now part of the seven.
魔力が違います。あなたは本物のリン。
Yeah.
まさか。
Give her rice.
セイバー？よかった。やっとまともに話せるサーバントに会えたわ。
Oh, it's a nice reunion.
でもあなた、私の知ってるセイバーとは微妙に違うような。
ええ、私も同感です。どうやらあなたは私の記憶のあるリンとは異なる世界から来たようですね。
Tiny bit. Multiverses, yay. He's just fighting over there, yeah. And a basketball court.
それでもやはり私の知るリンですね。
Oh, sweet.
比例をお詫びします。先ほど奴と刃を交えたばかりだったため、警戒せざるを得なかったのです。
He's having the time of his life over there, Gilgamesh is.
あいつにどこかやられてない？
いいえ、私はともかくマスターは戦いに慣れているようなので。
もっとだ。
What?
それに
Oh, it's funny. I'm gonna say my day and Gilgamesh would get along, but Finon and Gilgamesh getting along actually tracks. Regardless, Ishtar does not plan. Yeah.
ウルクの大敗。その扱いをめぐって、
yeah,
マスターと意見が食い違い、やむを得ず決闘という形で決めることになったのです。
You guys fought? Finon fought Saber and survived? Excuse me?
行くぞ英雄王財宝の蓄えは十分か
もう一つの聖杯の持ち主って
This is my face too. Oh, I'm in the way. He's like, yeah, that's my face too. You just called out the king of... the owner of Gate of Babylon. Yeah.
それでもしかしてもうあいつに取られちゃった？
いいえ、まだ我々の手にあります。ただ、決闘の途中で英雄王が強引に割り込んできまして。
What the heck? This guy.
あんたたち。
少し静かに。
俺を完全に本気にさせることは叶わなかったが、貴様にオンパロスの女子誌に恥じぬ実力があることは認めてやろう。名乗れ。一流の名は王の記憶に刻むに値する。
Yeah, he's in.
エルシオンのファイノンだ。雨降って地固まるって言うし。
Yeah, they got along. What the heck?
友人ってことでいいかな。
That's great.
過去より未来に至るまで、俺が友と呼ぶ者はただ一人。代わりなどおらぬ。
Oh, Enkidu. Enkidu mentioned. Oh, man.
貴様は進化となり、王たる俺の背後で補佐を務めよ。
Okay. Okay then. I don't think.
どうして僕はいつも服をまともに着ない男からこう仕事を任されるんだ。
Wow, that's great. That's fine. It's a lot of fan service. It's because you're a hero shouldering the weight of the world. That's your penalty for having bad fashion sense. Hey, finance drip is not bad. But yeah, it's because you're a hero shouldering the weight of the world. Shoulder.
相変わらずジョークがうまいね。久しぶり。僕の最高の相棒。
それで終わった？ただ手合わせするためだけにわざわざ出向くなんて、あなた本当に私が知っているあの金ピカなの？
たわけ。俺がここに来たのは大敗を取り戻すためだ。神を討つには武装、勇士、そして褒章、その一つとて欠けてはならん。神々の面汚しが浪した愚策なぞ、じき砕かれよう。来い。狼男のねぐらで出陣前の会議と行こ
う。Wolf? The newspaper place?
出陣って、okay. 決戦まではまだ何日かあるでしょ？
勝機はすでに我が手中にある。すぐに挑まぬ道理があるか？
I mean, that's a point.
白髪の今一度救世主を気取るつもりなら俺についてくるがいい。さもなくば俺の独壇場ということになるが、貴様らには次の戦で大役を担わせてやる。無論拒否権はない。
Alright. ご褒美を。No, it's okay. 頑張ります。I'll do my best.
乗った。神の相手なら得意だしね。セイバー、どうやらこっちの問題の方が厄介そうだ。ここはひとまず和解しないかい？
いかなる世界にあろうとも、この件は救済のために。 またこうしてあなたと肩を並べられるとは光栄です。
ライバルがまた増えたな。なら僕たちの絆をしっかり見せつけてあげよ
う。これで7組のマスターとサーバント、14の英雄が全員揃った。神に抗う英雄が勢ぞろいね。
Oh, here.
意外なのはいつも不遜なあの金ピカが自分から動いたことかしら。ウルクの大敗、あいつは決戦を前にそれで主演を開くつもりみたい。
Right. That's almost there. Alright, so gains 2 magical energy and draw 2 cards the next turn. Yeah, I don't really like this one, so let's switch this out. Yeah, I'm looking around. I think this might be it. Yep. Okay. Ashvin, Dio, or Hans from FGO, and Von Veek. Now I'm actually kind of curious what they're truly capable of. A master who was supposed to be the villain, but got surprisingly little screen time. Cute face though. And that detective of his who played everyone like a fiddle. Yeah, he didn't really have much. A suspicious saint who's clearly two-faced. Brings back bad memories. He ran off before we could interact much, so his abilities remain a mystery. I imagine it's similar to the miracles used by the Holy Church. Yeah, came up Halo again. Yes. Oh, it's interesting. I knew this guy wasn't so reliable. Where his heart's in the right place on the side this time. La Bestia de la Mancha. Anti-army noble phantasm. Detective's bone-deep gnaw. The sum of everything the hunter once lost. A colossal shadow that takes the place of a broken-legged wolf, consuming both friend and foe within its maw. To unleash it, one must bear the most excruciating how emo, a pain proportional to the number of people the master of this noble phantasm vowed to protect, but failed to save. The deeper the agony, the greater the strength. Holy moly! Never ult. if that's the cost of ult, I will not do so. Let's see, any new things here? Was all part of your plan, Archer? Emiya. Oh, it's cute. She calls him Emiya. The red devil from Venus and her poor nameless servant, forced to obey through threats and bribery. They don't like each other. Crazy. The red devil of Venus, how dare you run around causing trouble wearing my face? I'm gonna have to set you straight. Angaltaki Galse. Anti-mountain monocle phantasm. Yep. Born from a legend of Ishtar, utterly pulverizing a sacred mountain. Feared even by the king of the gods, simply because she was displeased with it. And then we have Emiya. There it is. A somewhat familiar-looking nameless servant. The goddess's accomplice. Probably an excellent cook. Yeah. Equipped noble phantasm. Unlimited blade works. Yes. Ability to transmute reality into a mental landscape, instantly replicating any weapon possessing the concept of a sword the caster has ever seen, then fired and detonated as explosives, called Broken Phantasm, a truly terrific tactic. There we go. I know we have more here. Yep, no, that's more like it. Cute. For sisters that make you think, no, that's more like it than what we're... Yep. Actually, that's true. There we go. I think we read these before. So continue a little bit more. Alright, well, the long-awaited... Oh, parfait. Or, not parfait. It's a crepe. Well, now I want a crepe now. The taiyaki. Okay. Whoa, the Grail is almost full. 5%. It's a 95%. Do we have anything we can grab now before we end, I guess, stream? No, I think we're pretty good there. All right, folks. Well. Oh, ad break. What the heck? Amazing timing. Amazing timing. Well then, I think that would be good to end stream here. Let me just wait for the ad to roll off, and then we will continue the outro. Okay, let's accidentally not continue or get the next cutscene in. There we go. Get Tosaka in view. Alright, folks. Let's switch the music up then. Nope. Oh, it's not playing, of course. There we go. Kinda need to hit play for for the music to start. Alright. Let's go ahead and look at raid targets while we're doing that. Let me just recap our things that have happened today. And there we go. Alright, Adelinity, thank you very much for the raid. And if you're still here, and folks from Adelinity's raid, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. I do appreciate it. Hunterfall 2005, thank you for the follow. Welcome aboard the station. And we had a gift sub from Lady Mayari to Adelinity. Again, thank you very much, Lady Mayari, for the gift sub. I do appreciate that. I appreciate you. Hopefully you're sleeping well. And we had a raid from Kev Gami, the raccoon VTuber. The Choom that was playing Cyberpunk 2077. Again, if you're still here after the raid, thank you very much for hanging out. We will see you all very soon. Yes, let's take a look at raid targets then. Oh yeah, Honkai was this weekend, wasn't it? Almost forgot about that. Sorry, I'm just like, we're all just chilling here. Honkai anyways. Oh, Faultier is playing Uncharted 2. Ah. That might be a good stream to run over to. Yeah, let's do that. Oh wait, what? They just they're in an ad they're in an ad thingy-mabob. Yeah, it looks like they're in a... Ah, gosh. I think they just went on break. If we can't get anything, then I'll just probably let's just double check one more time with Faultier. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and raid Fenpai VT here. They're also playing Honkai. There we go. Alright folks, if you would like to use my raid message, it will be right there. Still need to work on that. Keep saying that every stream. But again, thank you very much everybody for hanging out. If you're still here, thank you. On the red side, we will just be ending stream. So thank you for hanging out with us. On the red side on purples, on Twitch here, thank you very much everybody. Next stream, I don't think I'll be... Yeah, this might be... Well, I'll try to stream one more time before I go on a 1 week break next week. But thank you very much for hanging out. Thank you, phone. Thanks for the hydrate. Oh, care package. Thank you. I shall do that while we raid out. We got 30 seconds on it. But again, thank you very much, everybody. This has been Leo Tourist from the Tourist Station, signing out. Signing off, even. Good night, everybody. We'll see you all one more time before I go on vacation. See you all soon. Bye for now.